Today we're going to look at our last equation for the quadratic formula. So suppose a scoop releases a field hockey ball with an upward velocity of 34 feet per second. The function h equals negative 16t squared plus 34t models the height h in feet of the ball at time t in seconds. When will the ball reach a height of 20 feet? So since we want to know when it will reach a height of 20 feet, we can plug in 20 for our h. So when we go to solve this, we're going to subtract 20 to both sides. So we have 0 equals negative 16t squared plus 34t minus 20. So our a equals negative 16, our b equals 34, and our c equals a negative 20. So if we plug that into our quadratic formula, the opposite of b is a negative 34 plus or minus the square root of 34 squared minus 4 times negative 16 times by a negative 20, all divided by 2 times our negative 16. So 34 squared, x equals negative 34 plus or minus the square root. 34 squared is 1,156. So then negative 4 times by a negative 16 times by our negative 20. We have a negative 1,280 divided by 2 times 16, which is a negative 32. So x equals negative 34 plus or minus 1,156 minus 1,280 equals negative 124 divided by a negative 32. So remember before, square root of negative 124 is the square root of negative 1 times by the square root of 124. So when we do the square root of negative 1 is I, and the square root of 24 is not a whole, so just for right now, we're leaving it as the square root of 124. So x equals negative 34 plus or minus the square root of 124i divided by a negative 32. So this is our final answer. This is how I want us just to end it because we haven't learned how to simplify our radicals. But to keep going to figure out the seconds of how long it does take, the square root of 124, when we type that in, is 11.14. So if we say x equals negative 34 plus or minus 11/1400ths I divided by a negative 32. So we keep going that way, but for right now we're just going to leave it in that format.